There's one altcoin that I've been quietly buying since 2024, and my earliest buys are already up 240%, 200%, and my most recent buy just a couple months ago is up already 100%. The crazy part is that almost nobody realizes that Brian Armstrong, the billionaire co-founder of Coinbase, is behind this 50 million market cap gem. And every time crypto gets even remotely bullish, this token absolutely skyrockets, and that's because this project just might be the one altcoin to rule them all. In this video, I'll break down exactly why I believe that this project might just be crypto's ultimate sleeper altcoin. I'll share a custom model that I built around this token and exactly what it's signaling. I'll go into some updates on what this project's been up to, and overall, I'll share why I believe that this altcoin is absolutely primed to experience explosive growth given an alt season-like environment. The token that I'm talking about, of course, is Research Coin, or RSC. And I have been buying the RSC dip since 2024. Every single time this project dips, I unload capital into this token because every time that crypto goes up even minutely, even every time crypto's even a little bit bullish, this token absolutely skyrockets. And as I mentioned, some of those buys are up 240%, 200%. And the most recent buy that I made during all the tariff madness that I talked about a couple videos ago with my house money is already up over 100%. And when you have a token that is this aggressive every time that crypto flips even remotely bullish, that is this aggressive to send higher, that is a signal and that is a sign. And the fact that it's been doing this since 2024, every time crypto flips even remotely bullish, this token absolutely sends every freaking time. This token just like skyrockets. If that isn't like a grade A bat signal around this token, then I don't know what is. And the reason why this token responds so aggressively every time the market flips bullish, I believe, is due to the fact that it has the strongest and most insane, stupid, obvious narrative of all time. And that is Brian Armstrong, the billionaire co-founder of Coinbase, is the co-founder of this project, Research Coin. He literally has it in his Twitter bio. If you go on X and you go look at his bio, he's the co-founder of Coinbase and Research Coin, this project which has a token RSC. And that is just one of the most stupid, obvious narratives I have ever seen in crypto, especially given that RSC is sitting at $50 million in market cap. It confounds my brain that it's even that low still, given how powerful of a narrative that is. And obviously in crypto, like memetics are an important factor. Now I want to get into the more serious side of like what Research Coin actually does, because it's not a meme coin. This is an actual legitimate project that's doing some ridiculously cool stuff, including some stuff with AI, scientific funding, scientific research, etc. Obviously, Brian Armstrong would co-found a meme coin or like a stupid project. This is like a legitimate, awesome project. But just like stocks and anything else, like crypto runs on narratives. Like narratives shape a lot of price action around a token, especially given an extremely bullish environment. Now, I talk about in a lot of other videos my beliefs about alt season coming, my beliefs about like global liquidity, where all of that's heading, where the macro picture is headed. And I'm not going to get into all of that in this video. You either believe that alt season is coming, and because global debt is going to have to get turned over, we're going to have to pump a just ridiculous amount of liquidity into the global financial system, and that is going to send all asset prices higher. You either believe that or you don't. But if you do believe that, if you believe an alt season is coming, and even if it's not going to be like 2021 because that was unprecedented, really it doesn't take a genius to play out that when you have a powerful narrative like Brian Armstrong is the co-founder, paired with a legitimate project doing stuff in like a new space in crypto, DeSci, which is actually a really exciting sector within the crypto space, paired with AI and scientific funding, etc. It's like this perfect little recipe for potentially some ridiculously explosive growth given that right environment. I mean, Coinbase just became the first crypto company to join the S&P 500. Brian Armstrong, the co-founder of Coinbase, the company that just joined the S&P 500, is also the co-founder of a 50 million market cap project, RSC. And actually took a lot of the data and metrics, including like active addresses, top 1% of wallets, price, volume, etc., and created my own RSC specific model. And given there's not like a ridiculous amount of data to backtest on, take it with a grain of salt. But historical accuracy for this model, as far as like predicting when to jump into RSC, sits at around 90%. I just recently ran the model, and I'm going to share those signals a little bit later in the video. But really quick, some of you guys are probably wondering, what does RSC actually do? Like, what is DeSci and all this kind of stuff? And I've done a ton of different videos on Research Coin, so I'm not going to go into all the details on what Research Hub does and what Research Coin is for. But to put it really simply, DeSci is like a movement towards open science. And kind of like we want to decentralize the financial system with crypto, they want to decentralize and open source science so that we can accelerate science. Right now, there's a lot of issues with modern science. A lot of bureaucracy is built up within the scientific ecosystem that causes everything to go at a snail's pace. And those issues trace back to like how you as a researcher gain reputation, how research gets published and the accuracy of that research and the way it's peer reviewed and the way that science is funded. And the people behind Research Hub are like science maximalists. They want to see science accelerated at maximum speed so that we can see progress and growth, and they want to remove all the barriers and all the frictions that are causing this process to go slow currently. A lot of people don't realize it, but the scientific publishing industry is like a multi-billion-dollar a year industry. A lot of it's pay-gated, a lot of it's skewed, and it warps kind of how science is done. Research Hub is an open source alternative to that, and people love it. Like, people within the scientific community absolutely love it. And Research Hub is basically tackling three different things currently. They do the scientific publishing, which we just talked about that. They do peer review, which a lot of people don't know this, but scientific peer review is unpaid. It's really hard to get somebody to peer review your paper. Sometimes this peer review process could be really shoddy work. And Research Hub has created an incentive system to actually make this process a lot more fluid and incentivize other scientific researchers to come and peer review papers and do a really good job at it. And the third area they're tackling is scientific funding, which is a multi-trillion-dollar a year industry. And if they could break into that, it would be massive, absolutely huge for this project. And if you're thinking there's no way this small 50 million market cap crypto project, could do those things, could radically change the face of science, well, you're forgetting something. You're forgetting the most important key detail. Brian Armstrong is the co-founder of this project, and he took Coinbase from a nothing, no one talked about crypto exchange to being listed as a part of the S&P 500. And late last year, Research Hub actually launched their own journal, which is a huge step forward for Research Hub. And this is Nature. It's one of the most prominent scientific publishing journals out there to date. And this is some stats from December 2024 as far as Research Hub goes. Nature has about 624 articles per month. Research Hub has about 450 per month. Nature charges scientists to publish in their journal. Research Hub pays people to publish in their journal. The market cap of Nature is $5 billion. The market cap of Research Hub isn't 99 million right now. It's 50 million in market cap. And last I checked, Brian Armstrong was not the co-founder of Nature. And Research Hub is currently funding all kinds of science, including research into neural networks and AI. And outside of the narrative bull case that we've talked about, one of the biggest bull cases for RSC, just from a fundamentals perspective, is that in order to fund the various research projects through Research Hub, you have to buy RSC. So the fundraising happens via RSC. People buy RSC and they fund the research using that RSC. And recently there's a project called Artemis, which is like AI peer-reviewed research. And they raised over $200,000 in RSC to fund the research. And you can imagine as more and more people successfully fund the research via Research Hub, that's going to attract more and more people, which is going to attract more and more people to be buying RSC, which could become a reflexive loop, pushing the price of RSC higher and higher. Now, maybe the peak criticism that I often get about RSC is the huge FDV. So comparative to the market cap, which is 51 million, the FDV is 538 million. And what most people don't understand about the FDV of RSC is that most of the supply is held by the foundation and scheduled to release over a 12-year period. It's used to incentivize people to come publish on the platform, and the dilution of this token is spread out over the next decade. This is a really common mechanism within the crypto space. For example, Bitcoin on launch, most of the tokens were not in circulation. Most of the tokens were, in a sense, like as an analogy, held back as miner rewards to incentivize more miners to join the network, to bootstrap Bitcoin and build it out over time. In the same way, Research Coin's incentivization structure is somewhat similar in that it's used to incentivize the growth of the protocol over time, and it's over a really long time period. Now, obviously, none of this is investment advice. None of this is me telling you to go out and buy RSC, and none of these are like predictions of what will happen with the price of RSC. Of course, I'm not a wizard. I can't know the exact price point that any token will be in the future. But personally, my base case, given an alt season for RSC, would be RSC hitting around $300 million in market cap. Without even an alt season during the late 2024 rally, it went all the way to 150 million in market cap. So it would make sense, given an alt season at a base case, it would hit around $300 million in market cap. Again, I have no future information, so this is just pure speculation on my part, but that would be my personal belief. My bull case for RSC would be that it would hit around $3 billion in market cap. There were tons of Ponzi's and nonsense vaporware projects hitting those numbers during the last alt season, and none of those projects had Brian Armstrong as the co-founder. My ultra bull case, like 1 to 3% chance of happening, Hail Mary, shoot for the moon, crazy, impossible, but like on the far fringe of maybe could happen in a perfect storm kind of scenario, would be RSC hitting 10 billion plus in market cap. This would really depend on how strong of an alt season we got, so that it would ultimately depend on how much liquidity gets pumped into the financial system, as well as a bunch of other factors like how hot of a narrative is DeSci during the next alt season, how much of a bid does RSC really get, is there a rabid cult behind it that really shoots higher or not, and then possibly some of the dynamics of the actual tokenomics, how much research is getting funded, how much of that is driving up price, etc. And as I mentioned earlier, I actually built my own model around RSC using 22 different data points ranging from macro data to Bitcoin data to, of course, RSC specific data to try to build a model to kind of predict where RSC is in its like price buying zone. Like, is now a good time to buy RSC or is now a bad time to buy RSC? And historically backtested, this model is over 90% accurate, but huge disclaimer, this token has not been around for a long time and it hasn't been through a lot of different environments like a really harsh bear market or a really insane bull market. So it's almost guaranteed that at some point that model accuracy will break when like the fundamental environment that the market's in shifts into one of those two zones. But the model takes into account like wallet holdings, what the top 1% of wallets do, volume data, new wallet growth, and how all these different dynamics interact with Bitcoin price changes, Ethereum price changes, and the wider liquidity and macro environment changes. And right now it's actually signaling a yellow wait sign. Basically, the way this model works is it will only signal a buy when it's really, really confident that now is a good time to buy, when it's sitting above that 90% accuracy threshold. But if you look under the hood, it is signaling a mild buy, basically saying that it's leaning more bullish. It's leaning more towards that it's a good time to buy, but it doesn't quite have the full confidence to flip on the green light just yet. Now, of course, this model is for entertainment and speculation purposes only. It is not investment advice of any kind. I build these things for fun. And if you decide to buy or not buy based on my research, that is fully a choice that you have to make yourself as a grown adult who can make choices for themselves. So to be clear, for now, personally, I'm not even saying like, go buy this token or like now was a great time to buy. 1 month ago when I bought with my house money was a great time to buy. I mean, we're up over 100% since then. But currently right now, it's a little bit less clear. I don't know if right now specifically is a good time to buy on the short term or not. But on the long term, if we have an alt season, I really do believe this is the one altcoin to rule them all, that this thing has massive potential to absolutely skyrocket given enough liquidity, given enough momentum, given that sweet, sweet retail showing back up on the scene. If you are interested in buying Research Coin, there's a link in the description of this video. And if you're interested in weekly market research reports, including some of my data and dashboards, I share all this stuff in the Obsidian Council. Currently it's closed, but if you want to sign up for the waitlist to join next time it opens back up, there's a link in the description of this video. If this video is helpful, make sure to hit that like button. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the little bell next to it to be notified each time I release a new video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.